ladies and gentlemen, Big Jay Oakerson.
This is Bertcast.
The structure was always here, right?
Yeah. It was here last time you were here.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but before they kind of redid it for you, like it was always like your like little area.
Hello. Mine's really low. Okay. We'll put it at 6'6". Hello. Talking yours?
Check 1 2. Hello.
Okay, I think we're good. Why listen to it and make sure that it sounds right? Yeah, just do it.
Just flowing.
This is the integral difference between New York comics and LA comics. The way we podcast is this little fucking, oh, don't worry, I'll just get the speakers, I'll do everything myself.
That's part of it.
And and then New York comics are like, I have a studio, we've changed Ralph's house into a studio.
We turned Ralph's whole house into a studio.
But that makes it more fun. I wish if I was single, I'd love just to have people over and I'd be like, I podcast all night.
Yeah, but he's funny because Ralph's like 46. So he like, what's
how old are you? You're 30?
39. I just turned 39.
Oh, okay.
So what's great about Ralph is he's 46 and like he thinks he wants that lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
But then he has people in his house constantly and he's just like miserable all the time. You just see him like, people just coming and go. Also because the elevator opens up right into his apartment.
That's fucking crazy.
Which is cool. But you walk in and it's like, so at any given time, people just pop into his apartment and he's like,
so wait.
Hey, Ralph.
So I remember we went over there. I don't even know if it was you. It was just me and Lewis and I went and drank all his beer. And then he came home and he was like, yeah, we don't have any beer. I guess someone came over and drank it all last night. And I was like, oh, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
I remember that guy.
What, I lost my credit card last night. What's crazy?
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, dude. I lost my wallet and my credit card. And my wife's like, hey, you're 44. You're not supposed to be doing that. Like, you need to grow the fuck up. And I was like, yeah, can you believe it?
Wallet chain. I'm bringing it back. Big time.
Dude, I need a wallet chain. That's not a bad idea. That's really not a bad idea.
The only thing with wallet chain is I had it for I still wear them, but they're literally just attached to my pants at this point because when I had it attached to a wallet in my back pocket, I think it caused me major back and leg problems.
Yes.
Major.
Yeah.
Now I'm front pocket wallet guy.
So wait, do you have is it attached to your chain?
Nope. My
your
wallet
chain is just there?
Attached to my pants. I just committed to that look. Now it just has two. Now it's just two hooks. Now this is the back is just this connected to my jeans.
Can I tell you that like when I was in college, I dyed my hair blonde and I couldn't commit to the look. Like I couldn't just like there was like a whole part of my closet I couldn't fuck with those clothes, and I just was like I got so tired of it, and I was like, fuck it, just dye it back. I want to wear a polo. Like,
yeah, you gotta be one to go for. When I was young, the biggest, most important things to me when I was a kid were like the weirdest. Like even though it didn't really even really mesh in well to what was like popular at the time.
Yeah.
Like I listened to hip hop and everything because that's what everybody was into at the time when I was young. Because it was the time of that. I was like Onyx and Wu-Tang and all that stuff. But my mind was so much more set on like I wanted to look like fucking Axl Rose. I thought Axl Rose was the coolest looking guy in the world.
Really?
So the biggest deal to me was like getting earrings meant the world. People still ask, goes, you still have 2 earrings, really? I'm like, yeah, I'm not walking away from it.
Dude,
I just committed to it.
I remember wanting an earring so bad. Like I wanted an earring, and when I got an earring for a beach week in Tampa, freshman year, Ryan Rodriguez pierced my ear in a bathtub after doing a keg stand, like a funnel.
Yeah.
He was like, "You got a funnel; it helps with the pain." And then they got a potato and put it behind my ear.
Yeah,
and
the needle
punched it through. By the way, we all use the same earring to pierce our ears with.
Oh, you did it straight up with the earring itself.
Oh, they did it with the earring.
Oh, shit.
And then he pulled out and slid another one in. And you were like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. And he goes, is this supposed to burn like this? Is this supposed to be so hot on the side of my head?
I must have walked around left ear forward to everyone. Like, hey, everybody.
Hey, everyone. Oh, I couldn't. I would take my mom's like old hoops that she didn't use anymore, and I would like stretch them out and just put them where they would just be touching on either side of my ear. Just look in the mirror how cool that looked. But she hated it. And then I snuck off one time and forged a note for a piercing place. Just like one of those like mall ones where they shoot the gun
piercing
through.
Pagoda.
Yeah, piercing pagoda.
Actually, I'm not even fucking around. It might have been the piercing pagoda that you went to in King of Prussia Mall.
It was very possible
because that's where my sister got hers done at the King of Prussia Mall. The piercing
King of Prussia. That's great. No, actually, where I got it was I walked to a piercing place down 69th Street in Philadelphia because you could walk there from my house, and I lied and they pierced my ear. And when I came up, I came home and showed my stepfather. My stepfather was so like, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care. And then he told my mom, and my mom was like, it better be out before I get home or I'm ripping it out. And it's so funny. And it took me 3 friends to get that thing out because, you know, when they gun it in, it's like, and it hurts. And I took it out, and then a few years later, she let me get one. And it's so funny how times change. My brother's 11 years younger than me. When he was like 10 or 11 years old, my mom was like almost saying, like, you want to get an ear? Like, she wanted him to get one.
Really?
Yeah, she wanted him to get earrings, which I thought was so baffling. Same way, she was like super against my tattoos, but like, when my brother got a tattoo, like, I think underage, and she was kind of like, what are you going to do?
Oh, dude, my parents, if I had come home with a tattoo, they would have lost their shit. I came home with an earring from Beach Week, and they used to have these little plastic things that were like, they'd keep your ear hole open, and you'd slide it in. It was like a peg.
Yeah.
And I slid it in behind my ear so you could just see it poking out the front. And I came home, and my dad came home from work, and he was like, tell Bert I want to see him. My mom knew I'd done it. He goes, tell Bert I want to see him first thing. Tell him to meet me at the front door. So I went to the front door. I was like, right ear forward. I was like, what's up, Dad? And he's like, give me a kiss. And I was like, sure. And I went around to his cheek, and he goes, let me give you a kiss. I go, why are we kissing so much? And he goes, I just want to kiss you. I love you. And I went, here. And he goes, other cheek. And I go, oh, I can't do the other cheek. And he's like, take the fucking earring out. I was like, son of a bitch.
Kiss my kissable side.
And then I was like, I remember saying to him, I said, why won't you let me have an earring? He goes, because it's gay. And I said, you wouldn't love me if I was gay. And he goes, no, I wouldn't.
Oh, it was a different time.
It was a different time when your dad could say that.
Your dad was like, no, I would not love you gay.
No, I would not love you gay.
My dad barely loved me straight. It's so funny, man. Yeah, I remember that if it was the wrong ear too, it was like that was like a big deal.
Right ear was a big deal.
But I always wanted 2 anyway. I wanted 2.
I got to college. First thing I did, left ear pierced, and then I was like, and then I joined a fraternity, and every cool dude, not like the rednecks,
sure,
like the dudes who didn't say the N-word, had 2 earrings and then a third like right above the left ear.
At my most, I had 3 in my right, 2 in my left, and then on the left up top. That little thing too.
Holy shit!
I went for it, but the thing was, my skin also doesn't react well to all that stuff. So I'm like, it takes me forever to heal with that shit.
Really?
So I've had to like. It's the only reason I didn't get like when like the band Korn came out and he had the eyebrows. I'm like, well, I'm getting that, and I couldn't. But I just couldn't do that one. Could never commit to it. We have face tattoos, neck tattoos. I could never do it. But my first tattoo was just my name. It's still there. Real tiny in Old English letters, real small on my upper arm. I got it underage.
Just J?
J-A-Y. It looks horrible.
Did you cover it? It's still there?
It's still there.
Really?
Yeah. And I'll show it to you. But it's, I got it, and I was like, oh, this is good. It's up high. I can hide it from my mom really good. No big deal. But at school, everyone's going to think I'm so cool that I got one.
Oh, wait, you still had to hide it from your mom?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Everybody in this high school, when we moved to South Jersey when I was 17, ended up being 16, 17. And we moved to South Jersey from Philly. And there was like, it was such a culture shock for me because I grew up in like pretty black neighborhood Philadelphia.
Yeah.
To going like this very like the black people were sparse, like in the neighborhood we lived. And all the kids were like these like suburban kids whose both their parents worked, you know what I mean? Like everyone's parents worked, and they were just like shitty. That's where, like I said, like when I moved to the suburbs of South Jersey is where I encountered all like kids ODing from heroin,
really?
All this crazy shit.
I would have thought you would have gotten that in Philly.
Nope. In Philly, I knew much nicer. Like, I mean, in Philly, I guess there was like kids smoking pot and drinking and stuff, but like just blatant, like hardcore, like fuck parties and all this kind of crazy shit. Like you'd hear about all this going on there. And one thing that was cool was there was a place called Jersey Devil Tattoo that would tattoo you underage if you went in there. And they just did it. So I went with my buddy and we both got them. We're the fucking 100th kid in the school to go get them.
Oh.
And I'm like, I got it up high and it'll hide it and my mom won't know. It'll be cool. And like a dummy, we played basketball every day after school. I'd wear sleeveless shirts, play basketball. And I came home wearing a sweatshirt over like a hoodie, zip up hoodie over my sleeveless shirt. And I came home And I remember taking off. I was like, "Hey, Mom, like, what are we doing for dinner?" Blah, blah. And as I'm talking to her, walking upstairs, I'm just like not thinking, and I just take it half off, and then just slide it right back. Didn't say a word. I'm like, "So, Mom, what are we doing for dinner? Are we having stovetop?" I go, "Okay." And she goes, "What the hell's that?" It's a day-old tattoo. She goes,
"It's a day old."
She goes, "What the hell's that?" And my stepfather's just going like, my stepfather's covering my ass. He's like, "Oh, it's fake. It's fake. I wouldn't wear it. It's just fake." And she goes, "Is that fake?" And I go, What fake? Like, you got to get past it. Like, what are we talking about? What's fake? No, I'm a very real person. Yeah. She goes, "What is that on your arm? Let me see it right now. Is that fake?" And my step-up's going like, "It's fake, Terry. Don't worry about it. It's just fake." And she goes over. She goes, "Is that fake?" And then a brand new tattoo starts thumbnail scratching at it. And I'm like, "Oh!" She goes, "That's not fake at all." She lost her shit on me.
Really?
Yeah, I was 16.
You were 16 and you got Jay tattooed on your arm?
What a dildo. But that, you know what's funny about that? That's my favorite thing, is that, like, about your decision making in life. Yeah. I was 16 years old and I got J tattooed on my arm in Old English letters, really tiny, on my giant fat arm. And then at 36 or 37, I got Marilyn Manson lyrics tattooed on my forearms. My decision making hasn't gotten much better.
I ran into Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, did he come to your podcast?
Yeah, he came to the End of the World podcast with Stanhope and Rogan and Bert.
How was he?
He was great.
Was he great?
Yeah, he was great. He was a little like stage shy. Like he didn't want to get on stage. I don't know for what reason.
I want to meet him, but I don't.
Very nice. We ended up talking about Florida, and like I have
that's right. He's from Florida. He's not from. He's from Canton, Ohio. I know everything about the guy. He's from Canton, Ohio, which is where my dad lives in Ohio. So it's weird. Like when I went there,
we should see if he wants to come out
way
tonight.
Later. Oh, I have no. Do you have a way to make that happen?
Yeah. I'll call Stanhope.
If you have, oh man, I'll tell you what.
Text him and tell him we're hanging out.
The intro of my special is completely designed around how he does Antichrist Superstar on stage.
Really?
I got lyrics tattooed on my arm, and it's the only person. I mean, I've paid to see Marilyn Manson 50 times. I've seen Marilyn Manson.
Really?
Oh, as a performer, I don't think there's anyone like rock star performer that's been better than him ever.
I should text Stanhope and see if he'll text Manson to see if he wants to come out with us.
Oh, that would make my world to know that guy.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to get Scott Stapp to come out with us tonight.
That'd be great.
I don't know if he's sober or not.
My guy Lucas Rossi's coming out. Yeah. And he's ready to party.
Really?
Oh, he's ready to go. Yeah, he's married to a porn star.
My buddy Dacre, the guy that was in the band with me originally, he's fucking... We go to get lunch today, and he's like, I go, what do you want for lunch? And he's like, beer. I go, what? He goes, this is my day off, dude. Beer. I'm fucking drinking all day. And I was like, all right.
Oh, can I read you the text from Lucas Rossi today?
Yeah.
This is great. Because we left the show at like 1:30.
Yeah.
1:45, the rehearsal. He goes, I'm sorry, yeah, 1:30. At 2:30, and we made a plan. We're like, hey, tonight come to the Comedy Store and we'll fucking hang out. I got 3 shows. It'll be great. Roast battles tonight. All this is going to be fun. He goes, cool. 1 hour later, he goes, what you up to, homie? Is it beer o'clock yet? And then I'm kind of like, I got to do a meeting, and but we'll meet at the Comedy Store tonight at 9 o'clock. Is that cool? He goes, I'll be there, homie. How you getting there? I'm just drinking some vino at the hotel.
Oh, because he's at the W.
Yeah.
That's where Dacre is.
Yeah, I go, he goes, how you getting there? I'm like, Uber. He goes, creamy. What hotel you in? Isn't it great?
That's fucking great.
Oh, wait. I didn't even hear this. I'm going to hit up Scott Stapp and his wife. They're friends and staying in the same hotel as me. I'll bring them with. P.S. What's the cover? First of all,
no cover, and grab Scott Stapp. I'm going to see Scott Stapp tonight.
I'm going to say
and
no
I'm going to
cover.
fucking definitely be like, you should come to the Comedy Store. Is Rogan there tonight?
I'm going to write. He is. He's on Comedy on the Spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should I? Maybe I should hang out for Roast Battle and watch Roast Battle.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm going to say I'm sitting with the comic. He's
Daryl.
Right now doing a podcast.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
This is going to be a crazy night. We got to get Marilyn Manson out tonight. Let's just go for it. Let's just go. Let's make it an epic night.
Why can I not find
Moses, Brian Moses?
There we go. I'm texting Daryl Wright. I'm thinking of Brian Moses. That was racist. Just 2 black guys.
Well, in fairness, those two particularly look alike.
Are you doing roast battle today? That's me seeing if I can judge roast battle.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. We're gonna go. We have rehearsal at 8, and then we're gonna go straight to the store and just sit in the back porch, sit in the back bar, and drink. But I'm fucking wrecking my voice with alcohol.
Yeah, but you're also coating it in a weird way.
Good call.
It helps.
Hey,
Turn it to whiskey.
You know what I wanted to talk to you about? We had a conversation yesterday that was like it was like two kindred spirits at the same moment having it's like if two guys with small dicks ran into each other in a locker room and they're like, how come everyone's got big dicks?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah, and we were talking about money, and we're like, how do these people make so much fucking money? Like, I make good money, but like, even still, I go, man, like, I don't. What do you think? Kevin Hart has no idea that it's impossible, that making that amount of money is just difficult?
I do.
Do you think it's a mindset with us where we go, you'll never break $1 million, you'll never break $2 million?
Yeah, I do. I think it is a mindset with me. I'm constantly. It's only the last 2 years I've made any kind of money. Finally, and it's great. But I am immediately I bought televisions, and then after that, the immediate switch went to being like, okay, this is going to stop at some point. So how do I figure this all out right now to make sure it's good? Like, put a couple bucks away for my daughters, like get that thing for her college.
Yeah,
going. My business manager was like, get a pension plan. I'm like, sure, put money into that, because I'm just like, I think it's all going to go away, and I also don't know what the next big thing is.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean by that? Like, I don't know what the big thing is. Like, what are the odds? I play the odds, I guess is what it really is, and I'm a bigger believer in the sure bet, and I'm just like, what are the odds I'm really going to have like a 7-year, 7-season sitcom that's going to go fantastic? Like, I like to really focus on the things that my knuckles are in, and I can like tangible shit. So for me, Bonfire, Legion of Skanks, those are things like I can control that, and if it gets big, that's so great because it's getting big on the terms of what it is, what I'm doing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if like...
No, I was the same way with Travel Channel.
When I see Kev's life, like we hung out in Montreal this year.
Oh, did you hang out with him?
Yeah, we went and had drinks one night just to kind of catch up because we haven't really sat and just bullshitted in years.
Does he... I'm going to grill you about this.
Sure.
Does he go, hey, man, what you got going on? Not that he doesn't care, but like it's so globally different than what he's got going on.
No.
Is he like, does he say like, how's Kurt?
Yeah, he'll ask about how's Kurt and stuff like that. He asks about my family. I mean, he knows my family very well,
yeah.
Yeah, no, he'll for sure ask about that, but about like career-wise, for some reason, there's certain people, stuff like that has gotten in my ass a little bit. Like, man, why would he not cast an old line out there for your old pal Jay before? But for some reason with Kev, I never felt that way. I never
felt that way with Amy ever.
Yeah,
I would say I was really good friends with Amy. Meaning, I never thought she'd be where she is now that quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, I always saw her to be successful. I remember her turning down a gig in front of me one time to work with Attell, and I want to say it paid like $1,500 to feature for him for one night. And I was like, I remember watching her doing that. I didn't say anything, but I was like, I'm flying to fucking Omaha, and I'm making $1,500 to headline.
For a weekend. Yeah.
At the exact same time. And I have 2 kids, and she was just like, eh. But like, and I never thought about her, I never thought about her putting me in a movie. That never, I don't think I think it would bother me.
Yeah, that was funny with Amy is like I was never like super tight with her at all, but like just from like circumstantially, like she has. And you know what's funny? As I've said that comment before, I'm almost thinking like there's actually no one who I've ever thought should have done more for me that hasn't done a ton for me. I've never thought actually because like Amy out of the blue. I mean, I've been on her show 3 times.
Yeah.
Louie's been like great to me in that regard. But Kev never kind of came back. But Kev like jumped levels so quick, so young.
Yeah.
That he has. I've actually put it like this. Kev doesn't know at all what I'm doing. He has no idea. I'm not on his radar comedically in any way. So it was interesting when I did his show, that stand-up show he has that was in Montreal for his web thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And he sat and watched my set. Like, he came up. I actually made him laugh because, like, I don't think he realized it was being, like, semi-insulting, but he didn't mean to be. I know that. But he was like, because I guess the timer thing broke and they had to fix some stuff. So what was supposed to be a 7-minute set ended up, they needed me up there for like 17 minutes almost, 13 to 17 minutes, something like that. And I told them out of the gates I wasn't going to waste material on it, on a web show. So I was like, I'll fuck with the crowd.
Yeah.
And just do my thing like that. And they were like, yeah. And I did like 17 minutes. And when I got up, like, Kev was like, damn, man. And I'm like, he's like, I can't believe it. Like, whoa, man, that was like really, really funny. And almost to the point where I'm like, hey, Kev, we've been doing this for like 19 years almost, man. I'm like,
I've been doing it as long as you have.
Yeah, I'm like, exactly. It's like, in fact, maybe even more consistently, like in the grinding it out phase of it. So I'm like, what'd you think it was going to be like? Were you expecting you would do me a favor? It makes sense. The way he said it almost felt like he was like, I was just going to throw in you a bone because I saw you were going to be up there or whatever, and you ended up being really good. And I was like, no, dude, like I'm prepared, more than prepared for this fucking web series show. You're
more
doing.
than prepared.
Yeah, like it's fine.
That's really interesting because, but I'll say this too, is like, I hadn't seen you work in a while, and then we did that crowd work show, and I was blown away, and I was like, oh, I forgot. Like, I haven't been, in all honesty, if you're going to judge hours of doing stand-up, you've probably, I mean, maybe we're even only because I did the road more.
Sure.
So, like, I would do 8 hours in a weekend.
Yeah, which is a big thing.
Which is different, but, like, I was blown the fuck away by you doing crowd work. And I was like, I was in the back. I forget who I was talking to, and I was like, this is, like, masterful. Like, this is, like,
thank you, man.
this is a different level of competence on stage. I don't have this. I may be able to do some stand-up and stuff, like, and I think I can do crowd work, like, because if it happens on the road, I'm good at it because it happened. But I cannot just go up there with nothing and remain. You
can though, 100% you can, and definitely, and not everybody can for sure, but you're a person that definitely can. It's someone who, like, I always when you sound like preachy or like too artistic about comedy. I always think it sounds so lame myself.
No, I love it.
But there is a thing where it's like, it's what I hope I am. I don't think I'm a stellar writer of any sort. I think my jokes all have to come from something pretty real.
That's why you're good.
I don't think I'm a very good joke writer, but I don't think I'm a good, like, sit down. Like I said, when people say that, when, like, I have friends will be like, yeah, because I'll come over at like 2:00. I'm going to go at noon to like Starbucks, get a little writing done. I'm like, writing like for what? He goes, it's like comedy stuff. Just write. I'm like a screenplay or a script or something. He's like, no, man, just like, joke ideas and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can't even begin like to sit down and be like, come on, funny, here we go. So the president's, I don't know how that works. I
can't do that either.
But what I think I am, this is the cockiest sounding thing I've ever said, but I don't mean it, because I think comedy belongs to the fucking writers.
Yeah.
Like the beasts who can go up there and like turn these amazing jokes. But I think I'm just pure funny. The only thing I know that I am for sure is a funny human being. That's the same thing with you from the time I met you, when we were both kind of just like dicking around open mics, even in New York, trying to get up at 1:00 in the morning in front of 5 people. Is like, you're just pure funny. And that's something that's an intangible that you cannot learn.
There is
those Harvard guys can all become these amazing fucking writers, but if you're in a fucking 5-hour car ride with somebody, if me and you got in a 5-hour car ride, we're like, I mean, we're gonna haul it up to, we're doing a gig in San Fran, I'd be like, yes,
yeah,
like we're gonna giggle and laugh the whole time and tell a fucking story. But there's people who are like great comics, like Dave Attell is pure funny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a guy's pure funny, but there's like really funny comics. I mean, I've been in a car with Louis C.K. before. And I mean, the guy's brilliant, Louis C.K. But I mean, like, the car ride was like, okay.
I've been in an hour car ride with Louis C.K. and we didn't speak at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, like hanging out, like going like, so I remember asking him what he thought of this girl comic, and he just didn't like her. And I was like, I thought you would have liked her. And he goes, why? I said, because I don't know. And he's like, no, she's not funny.
That's what I mean. Almost like a combative, like confrontational form of speech where you're kind of like, how do you write such good jokes? And
where does your comedy come from? Like,
yeah,
I'm the guy. I literally my wife said it to me. She found me to be, you know Cowhead, right? Mm-hmm. So Carmen on Cowhead's show had told me, drunk one night, that she didn't like me. And I was like, huh? She's like, you're an asshole. And I was like, I've never been called an asshole. And she was like, to me, you're an asshole because you call up and you're so dismissive. You just go, is Cal there? And you don't say hi or anything. And I went, and then I got defensive. I was like, I don't have to say hi to you. I'm calling to talk to Cowhead. You're just answering the phone. She's like, yeah, but we've been friends, and you don't say hi or anything? So I told my wife, and my wife's like, oh, you're massively dismissive on the phone. She goes, what's so funny is you have a thing where I have a thing, and I don't know why, but like, I have no idea why I do this, but when I see anybody, when I have any interaction with anybody, I always try to make them laugh. Like I always am trying to get a giggle. Like, I smile a lot, and I like people. I'm very gregarious. However, I was doing it on the phone to everyone I work with, and Carmen was one of them. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize I was doing that. I did it on my agent. I go, is Heidi there? Is Max there? Let me talk to Reg. Is Judy around? Can you get Judy? I wouldn't. And these are all people I like, but I was just doing that. And I was like, oh shit. And my wife's like, oh yeah, you're like the most naturally funny, gregarious person, but in these one moments, you're being an asshole. And I was like, so I changed it around, and I started like, now when I call fucking Cowhead, I almost make a point to talk to Carmen for like a minute. Like, hey, Carmen, how's your day?
Yeah, I'm very like, but I have such a, and you said you're just kind of missing in that moment. And I said getting called out on it is the worst, because then you're kind of like, what? Like, I hate hearing that anyone thinks, when I've heard that before, years ago when I was dating this girl, and she was like, this guy was like managing New York Comedy Club or something, said he thinks you're an asshole or something like that. And I was kind of like, what? And I didn't even know this guy at all. And I made a point to go over there, and I had to figure out how to phrase it, because I didn't want to be like, hey, do you have a problem with me? Because I'm not trying to go be confrontational. I'm just kind of like, why would you think I'm an asshole, man? Like, I come in, I want everyone to like me and see I'm like the fun, jovial guy who like everyone gets along with. Like, asshole. Like, I don't think I'm an asshole at all. Like, I'm such like a...
Do you know Segura well?
I want to be everyone's friend. We started hanging out a little bit. We hung out on Oddball.
Oh yeah, that's
we would bullshit there a little bit. Yeah,
he's one of my. He's someone who's a good joke writer, naturally funny, but would never show it to you. Like, he doesn't like showing you. He's got to like you to show you that he's funny.
Sure,
like in hanging out, he's dismissive. Like he's like, yeah, sure. And then once you hang out with him and friends with him, he's fucking hilarious.
Is there like what's the in between of like the alpha and the beta? Because I don't think I'm either. Gamma. In a weird way. Is that what it is?
I'm just guessing. I'm a gamma male.
Yeah,
because
it depends where it is. Like, if I go into a car with a lot of people, and there are big personalities in it, like in a big personality thing where I don't know people that well. Yeah. Like, I'm very quick to like just lay low. When I've done things like I remember going to South Africa to do comedy years ago.
Okay.
And getting in a transport, in South Africa with all these comics, guys from London and blah blah. And I get those situations, or any comedy festival, you're in a transport, and I feel like these guys and the thing are all one upping each other, and I just have much more of like a. I'm looking for my moment to say something funny, but I'm definitely not like, I don't just keep going and hoping something good comes out.
Oh, in those moments, I was told that I cast a very large wake. I was in South Africa, and Andre Vincent, who's there as a British comic, one night he was like being distant to me, and I was like, hey, what is the matter? Are you mad at me? He was like, no, I can't take all of you in one day. He's like, I got to take small bites of you. You're really fun, but I'm not like you. He's like, I'm very quiet, and you are just this big fucking ball of personality that won't shut the fuck up. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's me.
No, but I think you invite people into it. Great. Oh, yeah. So the thing is, like, my instinct, I want to, like, in a transport with a bunch of comics, tell my stories and blah blah, but I'm not the guy who comes in and goes, hey, so what's everybody's name? I like some, like, who kind of did that, like it was before he ever came to America, like Jim Jeffries did that.
Really?
Jim Jeffries came in the thing, and he was like talking out of the gates right away.
Did you do South Africa with him?
Yeah.
Oh, was he partying?
Yeah.
Oh, that must have been fucking
that was
fun.
That was everyone. Jim's the guy who's like, so I'm Jim, and I'm blah, blah, blah. He goes, who's, blah, blah, you guys are from America? Like, he draws you into it, and then everyone starts talking.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not like, the ringleader. But I think it's personality wise. Like in school, I wasn't either. Like, and I think even sometimes with the friends who I've had kind of like close to me in comedy, who've become like the crew of guys that I see regularly, is not to be their leader. I don't want to say it like that at all, but like I wasn't like a crazy popular guy in school, but I had like my group of like miscreants that we kind of rolled around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I was like, I can be like an alpha in that. Not that there weren't other alphas in the group, but you know what I mean? Like, I definitely was like, hey, here's let's do this as an idea, guys. Let's go here. Everybody, I still feel like I'm a very organizing, like, hey, let's all go to the movies. You know what I mean? Let's all do this tomorrow. Let's all seriously wake up and do it. We're going to say we're going to do it, but we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like that guy where everyone else is like, I don't know, man, if I wake up. I'm like, no, commit, man. Let's do it.
Commit. Yeah, I grew up.
So I've always kind of found my ragtag group and kind of like would like to be like the shepherd in that kind of world.
Yeah. Because
I didn't think I could like be that effective in the world of the popular.
That's so interesting. I grew up hardcore alpha.
Yeah.
Like very popular, literally the life of the party in grade school, high school, college, like the loudest guy in the room, up on the bar, shirtless, take my pants off, go into a sorority house, get in a thong. Like I literally was like a fucking wild man. But I never like, and then when I started doing comedy, I was like, oh, I should shut the fuck up. Like I remember just being, like getting to New York and being like, I went to like, not UCB, but like a Collective Unconscious. Do you remember that place?
Yeah.
I went to Collective Unconscious. And
someone would paint with period blood and that kind of weird shit.
Yeah, and I was like, went up with a 40 and was like my personality, and they were like, yuck. And I was like, okay. And like I remember Dimitri would look at me sometimes like out of the corner of his eye, like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? And then I was just like, oh, I gotta shut the fuck up. And so then I just was like, duck your head down, do the work, become a comic that other comics like. And then when I got on the road, I was like, oh, my personality came out.
Yeah.
Like hard as fuck. And I think even still, like Segura's called me today and he was like, the fuck was this horseshit raffle you're doing? And I go, yeah, I did it. And he goes, great. Fucking you dick around and everyone's go, how come you don't do a fucking raffle? And I go, I was just fucking around, but that's my personality, is that raffle or fucking, I used to bring
back, the thing with take the dollar from the audience thing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
But like that is definitely my personality, is this fucking like Todd Glass, I think, and I could be brothers.
Oh, honest to God, and I mean this when I say this, you and Todd Glass, it's so weird you said it because I don't even know your relationship to Todd Glass really, but like two people, I said this last night out back at the Comedy Store, I go, because I said something about seeing you before or seeing you in the afternoon yesterday, but I was like, you and Todd Glass, two people, when they walk in, I'm kind of like, it's going to be fun.
When Todd,
and it's almost got nothing to do with like substance or drinking or partying.
Yeah,
because Todd's not even really like a big like partier guy with like drinking and stuff. But it's just like a guy who's going to come in and just be. Todd Glass is a good example. Pure funny.
So I've gotten into this friendship with Todd Glass that it is purely for my entertainment. He does this just for me, and he texts me nonstop. These are the texts he sent me. Okay. Bert, I just left the Grove. I walked around until someone recognized me. Can you believe I was there for 6.5 hours? You know what I was thinking? Everyone talks about how 911 was, but you know what? 910 wasn't great either. Shitting your pants is bad, right? And then I go, yes. And he goes, I did something worse. And I go, what's worse than shitting your pants? He said, I shit in somebody else's pants. It's a long story. Now I feel stupid. And then he goes, hey, he goes, you know the joke? My brother has 2 fake legs but real feet. I go, no. He goes, never mind. And then
Never mind.
And then he said, I think I'm going to put that in my act. This is all just him fucking texting me.
That's how mine works. It's genius.
Oh, it's the one he sent me today. This rain makes me want to just sit around and eat pussy all day. And then he wrote, sorry, that was for my accountant. He is just such a silly fucking person.
Nonstop.
And I love silliness. Like, I love just giggling.
No, that's what's great. And I said before why you have an alpha personality that's inviting, though. What's great about it is because you could be like the biggest guy in the room personality wise. And I've said this about you to others a million times. What's beautiful about you, I mean this, about your personality is beautiful that I envy and I try to emulate to some degree, is you're also a fan of it. And that you want to make people laugh and you want to laugh. And you're not skeptical of the laugh. You're not going like, who's going to make me laugh here? Like, you just you want it. Like, you want to enjoy it. Like,
that's why I want to
go in
battle tonight.
Like, I watch so much comedy being like trying to pick it apart, sort of, and like, is this guy? And there's always that underlying like, is this guy better than me? How long's he been doing it for? Wow, he's pretty good for that age. And it's all those things are kind of just picking it apart versus just going like, is that a great joke? You know what I mean? It's like, just laugh. Like, laugh at a guy making, because when I was a kid, it didn't fucking matter who, I mean, Gallagher, Carrot Top, Def Comedy Jam, Carlin, Bill Cosby, Pryor, you know, whoever the fuck, Emo Phillips, whoever was on.
Yeah.
A Caroline's Comedy Hour to a special to I just was excited when I saw a person standing on stage with a microphone telling it. HBO's Women of the Night with Rita Rudner, Paula Poundstone, and I'm trying to remember who, Ellen DeGeneres, and hosted by Martin Short.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is all just great. These people are all just here just to make me laugh. My favorite thing in the world to do is laugh. And comedy will jade you to that so much. That sucks.
I'd say I won't say names, but there's comics I know. Oh, I'm fucking recording this on the fucking camera. Some deaf person's gonna type in the comments.
Yeah.
But they're like you'd say something funny and they just go, "Oh, that's funny. You should write that down." And you're like, "You didn't laugh." And they're like, "No, it's good." Like
it's analytical too much.
It's like there's no joy in it. That's funny. Hey, I have a joke that's kind of like that. Can I use that? And you're like, "No, we're just talking. We're just hanging out." You know, like even Tosh, who I think people would think is the most analytical person, he loves to fucking giggle.
Yeah,
he loves to. Oh yeah, like that's the only reason I think we hung out is that like I'm a guy that bites off too much every time.
Yeah,
and Tosh is not. He's very measured, and like I think he would watch me. He would hang out with me and watch me, and like this, like I can't believe you're not dead yet. Like just like always like. Huh? Like, but he just is a big giggler.
Yeah,
and he's
that's great.
Like, yeah. Oh, him and Todd Glass. Do you ever see him waterboard Todd Glass?
No.
It is one of the funniest fucking things.
But Todd Glass on Tosh's show doing the prank show with the cops when he goes and pulls the black people over.
I did not see that.
Oh, dude, it's one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever seen.
Todd's
balls is the wall.
He waterboards Todd Glass. So he gets him on the waterboard. They harness him in. They put the towel over his face, and Todd goes, whoa. What's going to be my safe word to make you stop? And Tosh goes down and whispers the N-word into his ear. And he's going, Glass, and Tosh goes, no. You're not going to make me say that. Like, that's just the best.
That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, it was, some Comedy Central exec were with me and Tosh one night, and they were like, I can't believe you guys are near each other. Like, you guys don't seem like you'd even like each other. And Daniel's like, no, we've hung out before. And they're like, what's it like when you guys hang out? And Tosh just goes, well, Bert follows me around with a notebook and then does it all on stage the next night and just walks away. And the person's like, and I was like, that's not true.
He's kidding. He's totally
joking.
Kidding.
He's totally fucking joking. I hope he shows up at the club tonight. That would be great.
Tosh?
Yeah.
Never met him yet.
You've never met Tosh?
No.
Well, he's super distant. Like, he lives in Malibu in a mansion. And he comes in, does his set, and leaves.
Yeah, I know. I'd hear his name as like a big college comic years and years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then the show, And then I watched that show almost a little reluctantly because it's an interesting personality trait, too, that Tosh has. And I think Tosh.0 is still, I forget about it because we just kind of, we live our lives and you forget. But when sometimes I'll see it, I go, oh, DVR the new ones when they come on. And it's still fucking, he's great at that. He's hilarious. But my first thing was kind of like, well, Patrice did the web junk. Not that he stole the idea. It's whatever. The idea is like a dime a dozen. But I go, it's like, Patrice, you know what it is? Patrice, it kind of what you said before, like, Patrice was his own worst enemy in a few things. And different people have different things about themselves. But, like, Patrice, brilliant, no will to be silly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He didn't have, like, a real silliness to him. Like, he's hilarious and ball-busty and over the top and such a brilliant mind for comedy, but not silly. So when he did web junk, Patrice did it. It just was like him, kind of like dumb white motherfucker falls off skateboard, blah blah. It was no like heart into it. The job, it was a job.
Yeah,
on TV. And when you watch Tosh do it, like, oh, that guy, like he makes fun of the video of some naked guy doing something, and then next thing you know, he's naked and has a bottle rocket up his ass, and he's like, doing whatever, and like he just goes for it. Like, he goes for it hard, and I appreciate because he's silly.
Yeah,
like Tosh has a real silliness. So even in measure as he is, and I calculate that might be like, I appreciate your willingness to like be silly and
he might be one of the few. I wonder if we're breaking this down this way. Maybe the successful people aren't silly. Like, maybe the uber successful people, like Amy is not silly. Like, I don't read her silly. No. Kevin, I don't see Kevin as silly. Definitely not silly anymore. I just saw him on CNN, and I was telling Rogan, he's transcended comedy.
Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about like health and shit at this point. Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa. Like, I always thought he was. I take that back. I think Kevin's silly.
No. In movies and stuff, he'll be. I mean, his whole thing is he's like the little yelpy guy. So he's definitely silly. No, I think silly can be successful, but like, what doesn't go a lot of times in line with silly is a fucking business mind. Again, 39 years old. I am. We laugh now where it's kind of like, well, what am I, like a year or two maybe from figuring out, like, do I buy a house? Do I get something out here? Do I get something for my ex and daughter as an investment property or anything? Or do I buy an apartment in the city maybe in New York? And then it's like, but the only phase of that idea I know is it's like, okay, I guess I'll buy something now. Yeah. And then I have to, and then beyond that, I have to ask somebody who goes, so what do you do when you do that? Like, what's that thing? Yeah. I mean, both cars I've ever owned, like new cars I've ever got in my life, my ex-wife went and did it. I mean, I stayed home. Yeah. Because I don't even know the process of what we're doing. She goes, well, we got the MSRP percent. I'm like, how much is it a month? Like, what do I have to give a month to own this car? Yeah,
that's what I look at things. I said to Leanne today, I go, I'm getting a new car. She's like, you are? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a new car. She was like, okay, what car? And I told her the car I wanted. I wanted a Lincoln Continental. I've been looking for a big body luxury sedan for a long time, forever, and they stopped making them. And then the Lincoln Continental came out, and I think it's made for black people, but I love it. And I'm like, I'm getting a Lincoln Continental. And then she's like, do you know if we can afford that? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, oh, let me call my business manager and see if I can get a car. Dude, I'm identical. When we just renovated the house, and they said I won't get into this because everyone remembers the argument I got into Ari with the concept of Ari doesn't even understand the concept of a home loan. Like, and I do kind of. Like, I know that the reason it's good to buy a house right now is because the interest rates are low. Yeah. And it's like 3.7. And my dad was saying when he bought his first house, the interest rates were 13.7. Yeah. And so that's a good reason. But like, I am so far removed. The first check I ever cashed in my life. Dude, I used to get checks from Barnes & Noble. I got a check from Will Smith. My first check. I just mailed it to my dad. I was like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm afraid I'm going to get taken for the money if I go to a bank.
Absolutely. I've always thought the banks that I would owe some money somewhere, and the bank would just take it, which has happened before. But I grew up. It's also. I mean, I don't think you did grow up this way, but I mean, like, I grew up in a house like we lived check to check.
we lived check to check.
But not just check to check, but like we paid. Like when I started to drive, it was like go pick up our checks from work, and they worked in a hospital. My mom and step-pop, like they made decent money.
Yeah,
they weren't doctors, they're respiratory therapists, and like they make like a good living. But it's the way they lived and the debt they were in their lives and what they did. I pick up their check from their work when I drove, and then go to the check cashing place and cash their check for the whatever 2% that the check cashing place takes, and then while I'm there. Pay the electric bill, pay the cable bill, pay the phone bill, all at the check cashing place.
Really?
And you get your receipts from that, and you go home like that. Yeah, it was nothing like we didn't have like bank accounts and stuff. My mom didn't have like a bank account or any savings, nothing.
Never.
And then once in a while, what they would just try to stockpile would be like a wad of cash in my mom's top drawer.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like that's left over from this week, and then next week hopefully there'll be a little bit more. But I mean, me and my stepmom used to like dig into the cushions for change to order food and shit. Like, and we weren't, to make that sound like it's poor, it wasn't that we were poor, it was just that like we can't afford to order dinner tonight, we have to like eat spaghetti or whatever, or if we can find enough quarters in the couch, you know what I mean, digging in the couch, like maybe we can get cheesesteaks or something.
Oh dude, I don't think by any stretch of the means did I grow up poor, but my dad lived check to check, and I think that despite the fact that you may have some stuff,
yeah,
I think you definitely you sense that in your parents' energy, where you're like, I got a car when I was 16. Wasn't technically the car I wanted, but I got a car.
Yeah,
and I remember my dad being like, no, this is the car you're getting, and I was like,
oh yeah,
I remember like him wanting to. Oh man, it makes me uncomfortable, but like there was a period we just got into an argument about this that we used to get bugs in our cereal. Like,
really?
Yeah, like because we lived out in the sticks, and you'd buy cereal, and it would be in a grocery store that not a lot of people frequented, and you'd get it, and there would be bugs in the cereal. And I remember my mom saying stuff like, "That's not in our budget." Like I'd say, "Oh, let's get Twinkies." That's not in our budget. Yeah. And like, and then my dad made a lot of money right after I left college. Like right when I left college, my dad made a dickload of money, started making money, and I never really had any connection with it. I never saw him have money. I just remember, but like I said, I don't. I mean, when I worked at Boston Comedy Club, they were like, "We're going to give you $25 a week," and I was like, oh, "Fuck!" I called my dad. I'm like, "I'm making $25 a day." Was what I could get, and I was like, $25 a day, and I was doing weekend spots for like 50, I think.
Yeah,
was it 50?
At the time, it was $50 a weekend spot.
What's a weekend spot now in the city?
And then the weekends are generally $75 a show, and then some places like. The Cellar is like 100 or 125 at the Village Underground.
God,
it's gone up, but they set the bar though. The Cellar, I think, for that. But I remember the Cellar was like, even when I first passed there, how long ago that was. That it was food spots. The last spot was for food, and I thought that was the coolest thing. I go, I'm getting $25 from the Boston, and then dinner's on the house. That's fucking great.
Yeah. I was like, this,
and it made such sense to me. Yeah, I remember Eddie Ifft was the first comic who came to Philly to do that Black Comedy Club.
Yeah,
that was like a white mainstream comic guy from New York. That was up working in New York, and he was telling me like, it's so funny in hindsight hearing the numbers he was giving, but it was so romantic sounding to me. He's like, yeah, you go around. He's like, you can go to Dangerfields. They give you like, you do like 30-minute sets there, but that's like, they give you like $20. And then you go down to the Boston, whatever, you get $20. So you make like, $40 to $60 a night if you do 2 or 3 clubs. And then you go to the Comedy Cellar, you do a late night spot there, and they, it's a food spot. You get to order whatever you want off the menu for free. Oh. And I'm like, that's living it.
Yeah,
like, that's living comedy. It's so.
I remember when we went being in New York and just being like, I honestly don't think I saw anything past being in New York. Like, I didn't know anything about television. I remember them saying that Jim Gaffigan got $125,000 for a commercial, and I was like, okay. In my head, I was like, okay, so you just hang out in New York until you get one of those, and I was like, this is perfect. I remember when I moved out to LA, and they're like, you need to start doing the road because you couldn't get spots. You couldn't get any spots in the city when I was here.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay. And then I was like, oh, fuck, this is not what I want to do. This is not the life I had envisioned. I envisioned living in a city, having friends in that city, like not traveling from city to city every fucking weekend.
Yeah.
But then that becomes the way to pay bills, and you're like, you get excited for the road. You're like, ooh, I got 25 offers this year. Now I'm doing 18 weeks straight, and I'm like, just holy fuck.
I know what smacked me with that was that when I was younger, that is kind of what I thought it was going to be. I didn't see anything past stand-up comedy is what I didn't see.
Yeah.
So I thought the ideal dream to me was I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get my name built up, and then because all the things you'd hear. Even it was interesting having Attell be such like a mentor to me because
Attell silly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
But like in the most like not silly way, but he is. He's definitely silly.
Fuck hang on, it's my cardiologist.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
This is Cedar Sinai.
Oh, it's reminding me I have an appointment. Oh shit.
Thank you.
Fuck. Repeat.
Sedan at 250 North Robertson
Oh,
Boulevard.
maybe I shouldn't.
On Thursday, January 12th at 11:20.
11:20.
Not bad.
Yeah. That hopefully
Thursday.
Yeah, it's sketchy. You have a cardiologist?
No, I probably should.
Oh, it's fucking sketchy.
It's got to be scary to go in.
Well, I did that weight loss thing, and I really kind of thought, I think I might have fucked up my heart a little bit.
Really?
Because I didn't do it healthy. And there was like times when I was running where I was really short of breath. And then I realized it's because I was only eating like 500, 700 calories a day. And I
Yeah.
was just exhausted. And so, because I ate like 4 eggs today, 4 eggs scrambled. I love it, runny. And then got on the treadmill and just murdered it and ran 4 miles in like 40 minutes. And was like, okay, I'm not worried
Running
about my
the whole
heart.
time?
Yeah.
That's great, dude. I can't do that. I got to stop smoking cigarettes. That's the number one.
I want to start. I came here and had a cigar in the backyard last night. Yeah. Best cigar I've had in fucking really a long time.
Really?
Oh, I may have another one tonight, but I got to sing tomorrow.
Yeah, it's true.
So what you were telling me about Attell?
Yeah, well, see, the thing about Attell, having him as like a mentor for me as he was, and taking me on the road with him so much, like it was interesting watching him just be baffled why I'm still calling him up, and being like, hey, so my February, March is pretty light, so like if you could use me on anything, and he'd be like, yeah, of course, man, we'll do these like 3 gigs, you know what I mean, you come with me this weekend, but he'd be like, didn't you go to this gig with me before? And I'll be like, uh-huh, and I'll be like, they're not like headlining you now, they're not bringing you back, and it's like, because him and Louis come from a school of this that's not a thing anymore, which is the get an hour of comedy together that's solid.
Yeah.
Go hit the road. You just can't. It's like now these clubs are all like, well, how many tickets are you selling? Like,
oh, dude, now that is.
So the thing is, like, the problem is, so when I wanted to go on the road and go out there and just romanticize, like, I'll go out there, we'll get pussy, we'll get fucking hammered on the road, it'll be so fun, and just living in a hotel, not giving a shit, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it an age where, like, no one's looking for me, no one cares. So now I'm 39, and the road, I've had to tell my agent lately, I'm like, hey, man, I know the money's getting good right now. I was like, so let's do it. But if you can, stagger me. Like, I'll do 2 weekends in a row. I got to have like one home. Because also, and the thing is, like, and I don't live with my daughter. My daughter lives with my ex. And it's very close in the relationship, even with my ex. Everything's good, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And and my ex is, God bless her, like super cool about bringing my daughter to me. We don't have to go out there, but I mean, trying to eke in radio shows, podcasts, and spending time with my daughter that is meaningful time. Like, let's not be rushed. Let's go sit, have dinner, maybe see a movie.
Yeah.
Spend the night at my house, whatever it is. And Sunday to Wednesday is fucking insane.
Oh,
I'm doing I have 2 podcasts. I'm doing 3 days of radio shows now.
fucking Justin Edenbrook.
Justin Edbrook, yeah.
He is the funniest. He represents every guy that like is like, hey man, I can't do the road like this. Like Ari, Joey, you, like, and
Well, you know what it is? He picked up like the the unfuckables in some way, like Justin, which I always think is kind of cool about him.
That's what I love about him.
And what will be his legacy is that these guys who it's like we couldn't get on the road when we were like 20s and early 30s, and now it's like he's just trying to send 40-year-old men out in this thing where you're like, hey Justin, like I want to sleep in my bed one weekend, like I might want to go see a fucking concert or like when,
do something.
now I gotta give him a heads up. I'm like, hey, UFC is gonna be in Brooklyn February 11th, like please don't, I'm gonna go see Billy Joel April 14th, please. Like
why don't
please.
Here's my question, why don't we like who would be, I think I've said this to other people, but like why don't we tour together and do something bigger? Like I really
don't know, every time I get together with Nate Bargatze, we always say, why don't we just go do shows together, because they worry about the money being broken up well, but I don't require a ton of money for stuff that I fucking love to do. But again, that might be why me and you don't understand, like, why me and you aren't picking out our mansion somewhere. Because I don't know the thing.
You couldn't get Segura to do it in a heartbeat. He'd be like, no.
Well,
like I remember one time me, Segura, and Ari were supposed to do a date, and I want to say it was one of those two. I think it was probably Ari just fucked it up. They were like, I was probably Segura, now that I think about it, but they were just like, yeah, it's not going to happen. We're supposed to do a date together. I was like, guys, this is what it's about.
Let's just make it happen.
Yeah. I was like, fuck it. We don't need to be millionaires off this. Like, let's go out and have fun.
The personalities, man. You know what's crazy about that? Daydreaming. So me and Lewis and Dave and our buddy Justin started writing a script years ago. We finished it, but like for Legion of Skanks. Before it was a podcast. It was just called that, based off of kind of like life experiences I had and these guys being my buddies in it. We wrote it like in everyone's voice to be this show. And just a daydream of like, as it was coming along, I was like, well, we were all surprised. We never wrote anything before. So we're like looking at it and we're like, wow, this is like funny, man. This is like coming along. Like, I think this could be a fucking show that might get picked up. And just the daydream of like, it wouldn't it be great, dude, if we just do it in like a Legion of Skanks like tour where we're on a fucking, because at that point I'd gone on the tour with Korn and Rob Zombie at that point already, where I'd been on a tour bus and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But what I didn't enjoy about it was like, I was envious of like the guys in the bands, the younger bands, who were like the guys 2 Cents that were they're the guys that opened my special. Actually, I had Comedy Central flew those guys out to New York for me.
Wow.
Because these guys meant the world to me, because I was very alone on that tour, and those guys right away were like, you're our friend, you're hanging with us. And it was their first tour bus tour. And it's 2 brothers, and they were all buddies. And just seeing them enjoying this bus together and having a great time and whatever like that is like the coolest thing. And I told these guys, I'm like, man, wouldn't it be great? I said, I was on this tour bus tour. If this show gets popular, we can go tour around the country, just do like a month and a half, 6 weeks.
Yes.
Like tour around the country. I go, you could smoke weed in these buses in the back. You could smoke cigarettes up in the front with the driver. Out the window.
Oh my God.
I go, how cool would it be? I swear to you, a minute into my daydream talking to these guys, I think all 3 of them even had something along the lines of like, well, I mean, I would need like my own space. Like, what's the sleeping thing like? I'm like, there's just bunks, man.
Yeah.
I go, but if there's 4 of us on a tour, the bunks are huge and you put your luggage above it. So
yes.
You could bring video games and play Xbox in the back. And they go, yeah, but what do you go? It's like, I mean, you gotta like, and by the way, I'm a little prissy about certain things where I'm like, well, I'd want to stop every day as I want to take a shower at a hotel.
Yeah.
But just the idea of us being like, let's fucking tour bus it. And they're just, everyone's kind of way. It's like, we're going to be like on top of each other. I'm like, for 6 weeks, but like, who
gives a fuck?
I was like, well, what if there's going to be arguments? Like, of course there's going to be arguments.
Yeah.
That's part of the thing.
Dude, okay. Like, here's the other thing you got to do. You can't double dip fan bases.
Right.
You got to, like, I think me and you have different yet similar fan bases.
Absolutely.
Like, I think all my fans definitely know who you are, but like, they may not listen to Legions of Skanks.
Sure, no, absolutely.
And the same, like, someone said that to me one time.
It's all adjacent to each other, though. We all
it's all adjacent.
know it's like,
when I go on Legion of Skanks, it's a big, like, oh, fuck yeah. And I think it's all people derivative of, they like Ari, they like Rogan, they like, Joey.
It's all pulled from that. My thing came over on just the pure stand-up level Attell, like getting his audience from just going on the road with him so much and pulling his audience. So the people who've been coming to see me for like 6 years, 7 years are people from Attell. And then after that, it was all the help of Ari, man. Just I'll never be able to thank him enough for the things he's done for me in my career.
I love Ari.
I mean, how he fought for me to be a part of that storytelling show, and the only person they brought out from New York.
Really?
And I found out very recently. I didn't even know this because he lied to me because I think he thought I might not have said yes to it. But when he told me the first time, he goes, "So I got him to agree for you to be." It was still the web series, on Comedy Central. When he goes, "I got him to agree, Comedy Central to agree for you to do the show." Because they wanted to keep it all LA guys, but I told him, like, I want you on the show. I fought for it, and I got you. He goes, "They're going to fly you out, but you'll stay with me at my apartment, and that's cool." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's great." I found out very recently, like, he paid for my flight out there. They were basically like, well, we're not flying him out or putting him up, so if you want him on the show that bad, like, he could do the show, but we're not bringing him out here. We're not budgeting the. And he flew me out because he wanted me on so bad. And I mean, I've done that show 4 fucking times now.
The first time he did it, when it was the web series, he asked me if I could do it, and I couldn't because of my interactions with Travel Channel, because I had signed a deal across the board to only do web content for scripts. Like they were starting their own web series, their own website, like streaming service, and they hired 4 people to be the spokespeople of the service, and it was me. I want to say like Vanilla Ice, whatever, but the deal was we couldn't do anything else, so I couldn't do anything with Comedy Central. And I told him I can't. I go, it's a conflict of interest. And one night he just says he called me up and he goes, "Can I ask you a question and you won't lie to me?" And I go, "Yeah, of course." He goes, was it really about Travel Channel, or did you not want to do my show? And I go, "Of course I want to do your show." I go, "It's about Travel Channel." And he's like, "It feels like a lie." I go, "No, I want to do your show." He goes, "Do you serious?" And I was like, "I'm dead serious." And he was like, "Okay, all right," because it's been bothering me. And I was like, I'm dying to do your show.
A character trait that I just told my ex-wife this on the phone an hour and a half ago when I was talking to her, because I just had a couple meetings today and stuff, and it was about like people kind of leading me in directions for certain ideas, and I don't really want to do things a certain way. But being more like, you should be excited. You should be excited, man. They're going to do this for you. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not kind of what I visioned for this. And and just not sticking up for myself at all on a lot of things, and being that person. And I was like, man, it's a quality about Ari Shaffir that I just like. Because I met with Jeff Tomsick today, and he was telling me about Ari with that show particularly, his storytelling show. Like, they wanted to change that 1,000 different ways, and he was like, no.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, let's make this more of a general audience thing. Let's not just make it so for like late night comedy fans and blah, blah. And he's like, no, we're going to do it this way, and we're going to keep doing it this way. And he just fights.
They were talking about the
intros. He just
intros.
fights for his thing. I worry. I'm a really loyal dog. And by that, I mean, like, I wear this in my stress and my tension and my shoulders so much things. But like, if I'm like, I have me and my buddy, I'm trying to get better at this. It's nothing against like my thing. Like, hey, me and my buddy wrote this thing. We want to do it together. And then when the person comes to me, they go, okay, well, we want you to do the thing, but like we got to edge your buddy out. Tell your buddy like take a hike. And I'm kind of like, he's like, but you don't tell him tell him we'll give him a little something and we'll take care of him. I'm kind of like, but in my head, I'm screaming, like, it's like, no, this is our thing. And we're going to do this together. It's like fight for a thing, but I'm just kind of like, you don't want him, but you're okay. I'm listening. Yeah. And, but I mean, my shoulders rising into my ears as I'm saying this, because I go, how do I got to tell him this?
Oh, yeah.
We have a guy, a buddy of mine who rents a room from us. I think me and Christine
you were talking about it yesterday.
And I was like, I don't know how to fucking tell him. I was like, hey, man, my daughter needs a bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, so that room's going to become hers. I don't financially need a roommate at all. It was convenient at one point. It's not convenient really anymore. But I'm like, I'm already 8 steps ahead where I'm like, he's going to hate me and we're going to have a weird argument. And it's like, I don't want to have tension. I also don't want to live the next few months that I told him he could stay in awkwardness.
Yeah.
Like, it's terrible. And it's selfish, and it's like, also like in a weird sense of loyalty. Like
It's
I don't want to hurt him because I don't want to see him be upset with me, or so. It's such a weird. Is it narcissism? Is that the ultimate narcissism, or is it like the most giving soul? I don't know how to face that.
I'll tell you what has been told about me through my therapist. I am a primary narcissist, meaning my narcissism isn't based off of being a sociopath. It's based off of a child's need for approval. Like it's basically like I think of things the same way a child thinks of things and goes, no, I want to do that because I want to have a good time, or and it all centers around a need of validation and not letting people down. Like we just talked about this on Rogan, but they're like, yeah, you have a problem with not wanting to let people down. That both Rogan and Tom are like, I have no problem letting people down.
Well, that's great. As I said before, I said good in many ways for my daughter, especially too. But like me and my ex-wife probably would have, the right thing for me to do would have been to probably end that a few years before it ended.
Yeah.
Maybe even in a time where in my daughter's life it wouldn't have been because it did happen when she was 11.
Oh yeah.
And she went through a couple months. Like there was what was that conversation? That thing she said to you? Oh, you told me that. Soul crushing. Yeah, she said. So what happened was like she was being very weird and being very distant and odd, and then but she not around me. Around her mom and in school, and I'd see her, I'd be like, why is she being so normal and herself around me? I don't understand what the disconnect is here. Is she putting on an act for me, or is she to the point where I'm almost going, I think she's just being dramatic because you guys are reacting hard to it.
Yeah.
Where I'm just kind of treating her like normal, just picking her up and hanging out with her and doing. And then we just had a conversation one day. I'm like, why are you driving your mom nuts? Like, what's going on? You're being crazy in school. What's the And she was trying to tell me like, no, there's nothing's wrong. I'm fine. I'm like, no, it's wrong. We haven't really talked about this at all. I goes, is it because me and your mom aren't together anymore? And when she broke down, she goes, I just liked our family the way it was. And I was like, oh, you fuck. What a rough sentence to hear your daughter say. But again, like, and there's nothing to be like, to get sympathy about on my end for this, but like with my ex, man, like the split itself, like, probably should have happened like years ago, but it really came down because it was like, why are you keeping these like secret lives basically behind her back that you're doing and just running around and doing all kinds of extramarital shit for sure? And I'm like, because like it says narcissism, but it's like her life is going to be devastated, flipped upside down, and she's going to be like a fucking mess. And then she's not going to be like, if I thought I could walk in there and you go, I was like, hey, what do you think? We should probably just start seeing other people and go our separate ways, raise Isabella together, as a family unit, but like, and she'd be like, that sounds all reasonable.
Yeah.
I would have done it fucking years ago. But the thing is, it's like, she's going to start, the lips going to start quivering, and I'm going to be like, let's just stay together forever. I don't care. Like,
let's just stay together forever. I love you.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
And I'm really drunk. That's what it is. Because I don't want Misha. It's not like, oh, what a burden on me that she's upset. But I really absorb the emotion where I'm kind of like, that's where I get like, you get those sad where you're like, I should just drive over a fucking cliff, man. I'm no good to anybody. I fucking ruin lives.
That's Geraldo had those thoughts too. Yeah. Of him going like, oh, my sons are going to be alcoholics now. Like, I just am fucking everything up. I feel like that sometimes where I go, where I'm like, but I don't know, but I don't have it. Like, I don't fuck around on Leanne only because I'm like so fucking in love with her.
Can I pee
Brian.
real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, pee. That cop. Like, if you have anything that's a little if you have anything that looks different on you, she's like, whoa, why do you have white in your hair? Like, and you're like if you wear hats, she gets real freaked out about hats.
Really?
Yeah, it's back on. I don't know what we were talking about, but I will tell you that. So we just bought that table. This is one of the things that goes through my head all the time. Yeah. So like, we bought that table. It was on sale. It was super expensive, but it was on sale. And Leanne was like, I want a really nice table. It's going to be the centerpiece of our family. I'm like, yes, go for it. And then the guy put it together today, and one of the legs was like tilted in. Like it was like just really like angled in. Like it was like, it wasn't even stable almost. And I was like, immediately I go, that's what I deserve. That's what I deserve. I don't deserve anything good.
That's what we're talking about too, is that kind of thing. We're just kind of like, of course. And also it's like the ordeal of getting it back. And
and I go, fuck it. You know what? And then her father, this is the difference between me and I just give up. And I go, I don't know. Sorry. And then her father goes, well, no. He went on a rant about mass-produced furniture. This is why you don't buy nothing from Crate and Barrel. He's a real redneck. And he's like, and then he goes in and he disassembles the entire mechanism, and he finds out that the reason that is that they screwed in the bolt that you're supposed to screw it into. They screwed it in halfway and at an angle. So he goes in, planes it, goes in and fixes it, and now it's fucking working perfectly. But I would have just given up, and he just was like, I'm not going to give up. But if you look at life, trust me when I tell you, he gives up a lot quicker than I do in life, in like big scenarios.
Sure.
But when it comes to that fucking table, he just goes, I got this.
Because we put our not give up into the extraordinary, though. That's a very interesting thing, and I've learned to not put that on people I grew up with who are still like, what's 10-cent wing night at the blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah guys, but like, and guys who just like, man, working at the Costco, you know what I mean? Like I'm a manager there now. I make blah blah blah. My wife works whatever. We got the kids, and you're kind of like, geez, but you're like, that's how life functions for the most part, because we put 100% of our oomph into like this thing that's ridiculous. I mean, like I said before, being like, I remember one time getting ready to do some like Talking Head History Channel fucking shitty show.
I did the same one.
I love the 1880s. That's what I did.
Oh, for real?
I love the 1880s.
Oh, no, I didn't do that one.
I did this show, and like I'm sitting like, then that night before was like one of those, and the call time was like, be here at 7 a.m. For these things, and I was in Long Island, so I have to go to the city and be there that time. And I'm like, so then I'm like so furious. I'm just like, oh my God, I wish something would come along and cancel this. Or I wish I just said, no, the money's not that great.
Yeah.
It's almost inconsequential. That was when I really didn't have any money, and I was still like, this isn't that good of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, the show, no one's going to see. I don't care. It's whatever. And then I'm like, and I was like, conversation with myself, almost like smacking myself to go, it's like, hey dude, when you were like 12, if someone goes like, you're gonna be on a TV show one day, I'd be like, get out of town.
Oh, I got an offer for a college yesterday, 2 days ago, for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of money. We could both agree it's a lot of money, but it's not the kind of money that you also can't pass on for the hassle that is a college.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of opportunity for you to get in trouble at a college. It's a lot of like, you got to fly yourself into the airport. You got to drive 1 hour to get there. You need to find a hotel. It's a lot of...
Yeah.
Like, and by the way...
It's logistics. It's not like a comedy club where it's all lined up for you.
Yeah. Or the Wilbur. Like, where you go, oh, this is going to be fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Fly into Boston, stay at the hotel across the street, bang, So... I said, you know what? I'm going to stand up for myself. I'm going to pass. We're on a conference call. Oh, no, we're not. We're at a meeting. We had a meeting in my man cave with all my managers and agents.
Uh-huh.
And see if the price is on here. This is it. It's at the very bottom, last line.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I go, you know what, guys? I'm going to pass. And they went, really? And I went, yeah. And they go, let's just remind you that this is one show. And I went, okay.
I got
and
you.
They're like, and really, you just got to show up and do, 40 minutes or 50 minutes. That's all you got to do. It's going to be sold out, and they want you. They are asking for you. And I was like, okay. And they're like, and you're already going to be out that weekend, and you're going to fly. You got to do a date. The next night's a one-nighter, and you're doing it for half the money you are for this. And I went, oh, yeah. And they're like, so are you sure you want to pass? I go, I'll take it. They talked me right back into it. And they go, fuck yeah. And then I was like, I got all this confidence. I was like, you know what? it's too much of a hassle. And then I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh fuck, god damn it. Yeah, what am I? And like I just immediately, but like I did a corporate one time where it was twice and half of this, and I was like through the roof, dude. I bombed so bad for 1 hour that I was like, it's not worth the money. Like, because I just do really poorly in those scenarios.
At the end of the day, colleges pay in general like a ton, but I'm
so bad at them.
I've only done a few in my whole career, really. I mean, I say I feel like 20, but
I haven't done 20
in 19 years, 20 college gigs, 20 in my life, and with the exception of SUNY Delhi was run by Marty Fisher, what his name was.
Marty. I've done that one.
Who was great, and the gig sucked, but he loves it, and he treated you well, and the money was fine, and they would take care of you as best they could for that, and it was drivable from New York, pretty easy. Besides that, I've gotten like the schools angry, or somebody was upset.
I've gotten in
or I
so
said
much
something,
trouble.
or a racial thing I said, or whatever dumb thing, and you're just kind of like, because these kids don't get nuance, they don't get irony, they don't get any subtlety, or and they just think, so if you make a racial joke, they just go, it's like, this is about race, this guy's a racist. Like, no, I'm not a racist.
And I'm like,
and you're getting a lot of shit comes back, and I'm kind of like, not sort of worth it at all. It's not worth it at all.
And then I go, okay, it's worth the money. That's nice. But then I got to sit there and fucking for 2 days afterwards and go, oh, that was rough. That was really rough. I just failed in front of a bunch of children.
Yeah.
Like a bunch of 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids.
And they
just
believe,
were like, you suck.
And right. And it's like, and in their mind, like, you walk out of there and you have to walk out of there knowing that these people are like, you're the loser. Like, they're like, you're the loser. It doesn't matter how much.
Bad for your kids.
Doesn't matter how much money you got. Doesn't matter how much. It's kind of like, yeah, this guy was the loser tonight. You're like,
I got everything lined up for me. I got my whole dream set up, and I'm watching you live your dream, and you suck.
And you're a hand job if you go. It's like, that's the worst when the stage anger person starts going like, I could buy and sell you, and I'm bigger than this. I've been start giving you credits and shit. You're like, oh God, please don't do that.
And then it never turns out right because they're like. Inevitably, the only reason that I'm getting paid this amount at all is that whoever books this college wants to party with me.
Yeah.
And he can do that. He's got the money to go. I can throw some money and Bert Kreischer will fly out here and I get to party with him for a night. And every time they think I'm someone different, they're like, so we got DMT and we want to know if you want to go to our dorm room and smoke DMT. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we got mushrooms, we got coke. And I'm like, guys, I got high blood pressure. I have 2 children. I was like, I'll go have a beer with you. And they're like, we're only 17. And I'm like, okay.
That's what it is. It's like you get the one fan who's like, everyone's going to love this so much. And you almost go, they will not love this so much.
Yeah.
They're not going to love this as much as you think they're going to love it. And it's true that there's a lady there and she's great and she does the best she can. There's a casino gig that I'm getting ready to go back to.
Calusa?
So one nighter. Is that
up by Sacramento?
No, this is Oklahoma.
Whoa.
I think I've done the Calusa one with Ari before, but
Calusa's great.
This lady, Lacey Applegate, I believe is her last name.
Yeah.
She's great. She loves comedy. She loves it. And this is one of those places, Oklahoma, the town it's in, where you have to, there's no direct flight.
Yeah.
I think Atlanta's the only place that flies direct. So you got to fly to Atlanta and get out there. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's nothing except this casino, basically. But it's grotesque money.
Yeah.
And it's because she's like, they have the budget in it, and she wants to bring up, but she's doing this money where you could probably get like some fucking names to come out. But she's just giving, but she's a fan of like the podcasts and all this stuff, and she just knows, and she's like, great. I think it's such a cool thing. So that one, you're like, oh, I'm getting paid because like it's, the travel sucks and the whole thing's there. But at the end of the day, like, I've turned down some money things that were like decent money because, like you said, at the end of the day, like, we're fragile to some degree too. And like, you have to remember at the end of the day, it's like, I get to the world and our significant others and your family. It's like you go away and you bring home money. and you're probably out there partying, having a great time, and it's like, you know, fans and cheering, and sometimes you're like, no, like I you know, I'm not bashing them at all. I think I went on a weird weekend, but I mean, like, I made pretty good money to go to Burlington, Vermont, to a club not too long ago, and like, I mean, that weekend couldn't have ended faster for me.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the people there. I didn't like the crowds were not into it. It was like Thanksgiving weekend.
Ooh.
So the time also, so all of the people who are younger are home. You know what I mean? Like, they're away and shit, and it's just like, it was draining on my spirit. And like, even when you get the check at the end of the week, you're like, like, oh, thank you. Like, you know, everyone, thank you was nice. You know, the club owners were nice. Everyone was great, but I'm just like, man, I did not have a good time there. And you know, and you come back and people are like, yeah, but you went and told jokes and got money. He goes, you're right. In the grand scheme, but that's the jading, as I said before, where you can't believe then why some guy like, do you really like fucking drive a concrete truck for a living? You know, when your buddy does that, you're like,
Yeah.
how do you do that? But you said, but the concrete truck guy has the will to like fucking like, I'm going to fix this goddamn thing, or I'm going to get on the phone and I'm going to make sure this gets handled right. You know what I mean? Like, they don't give up on that. But just in the world of like life, they were kind of like, hey, I'm just going to be some ditch digger type dude. You know what I mean?
Dude,
like and to us, that's a give up, because you're kind of like, no, dude, don't you realize, like, if you just kind of do what I did in high school and dick around and make people laugh, like, I fucking, you know, I've met you know, I've been backstage with Guns N' Roses before. It's like, great. You know what I mean? You're like, this is crazy.
Oh, it's the one thing I'm jealous of is the guy that is the concrete driver, some cement truck driver, or the guy that builds fences. At quitting time, he leaves his job at home. He leaves his job there at work.
Yes.
Joey Diaz is calling.
And we never.
You never don't take a call from Joey Diaz. Joey, I'm on the podcast. What's up?
No worries. Stay black.
Okay, I'll call you back. So, but one of the things, like, I worked on a TV show. I won't say the name because it hasn't come out yet, but I did not enjoy the process. Right. And it was the last show I've done, and it's the reason I won't do TV again for a while. Because I went, this isn't who I am. Like, this is never who I was. It's almost like there's a part of it where they're like, you know, they cut the camera cuts, and also Bert Kreischer, and the guy's like, make a funny face, and you're like, ha, and he's like, do it again. We're gonna come to you. Do you have something funny to say? Are you gonna be funny? And you're like, yeah. And then I'm sitting there with another comic, and then we got in the green room, and she was like, this is not what I plan on doing with my life. And she's like, and I was like, yeah. And so I run into one of the producer I worked with at Opie Radio. I'm doing Opie, and he goes, hey Bert, I forget his name, Justin. I worked with you on last project. I said, yeah. And he goes, so did you have a good time? I said, no. He said, what? And I said, I did not. I go, that is the reason I won't be doing television for a while. And he's like, was it something I did? And I said, no, I just realized that is a very shallow place for me to be. Like, it's very, very different. And I would say this, across the board. It's very different than what you see of me. Like, can I, like, cut the camera. Bert, can you rip your shirt off? And you're like, and I'm like, no. And they're like, take your shirt off and like make like a face. And I'm like, no, because then that's forced. But if like we go to do what's your deal, and you're like, you're gonna take your shirt off, I go, yeah, and then I do it. That's me. It's not. It's like this photo image of me, or like like an illusion of me that they're doing on TV.
No, as I said, well, that's what when you did my show. Like, I didn't know you were gonna take your shirt off. When you took it off right away, I was like, great. I was like, that's great, because
but that's who I am in real life. And then you do these shows, and they're like, all right, we're gonna take that again. Can you guys do that same conversation? And I'm like, no, I would be an actor.
See my face just fall because this morning I had to go through that a little bit on the Comedy Jam thing. I was backstage and talking to my, Lucas Rossi, the guy I'm singing my song with.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him, and I sort of told him kind of the story. I'm like, oh, this is why I'm going to say we're singing the song together, is because I was like, dude, I saw you on this reality show. I thought you were awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited you're here. This is such a cool thing, a real moment we had. When he's like, oh man, I appreciate that. This is so whatever. And then they came out and they go, hey, just so you know, guys, we're coming out with a camera now. We're kind of documenting like the backstage stuff and everything like that. And I go, just kind of us talking, and you're just going to film us like talking. That's fine. I don't care about that because even my show has to get like that B-roll shit. I'm like, that's fine though. And they go, yeah, just natural. It's fine. It's good. So me and him were talking about like just whatever else. I was like, you're from Toronto, right? I was like, I just did a Massey Hall with Joe Rogan up there as a really and he's like, oh, cool. And then the girl, you hear the girl go, she goes, can you guys talk about like tell him like why you picked him to like sing the song? I was like, oh, we just like right before you came out, we actually had that conversation out there. She goes, can you just kind of like give like an abridged version of it now? I go, no. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah, no. I go, it's just gonna be like, that's weird, don't you think? And she was like, is it? And then I just kind of like, we were able to kind of like make fun of that, me and him together, so like of her asking us to do that, to kind of make that the segment, I guess, which felt a little more organic because it really did just happen. But I'm like, when they do that, like backstage at Dave Attell's underground show, they were doing B-roll upstairs, like in the Village Underground.
No.
Or a car?
No.
Well, someone's at the door saying they're here to pick up a Kreischer.
It's for you to get to. No, it's for you to go to the comedy.
What time is it?
It's almost 7.
6:50?
Yeah, I don't need to be there till 7:45.
Yeah, it's like the 30-minute like thing or whatever, but they'll wait for you. They waited for me earlier.
Tell them I'll be out. I'm in the middle of a podcast. I'll be out soon.
Okay.
Is that for what it is? Would you ask him if that's what it's for?
It's definitely.
Supposed to pick up Kreischer.
Oh, okay. It must
It's 100%. They did it. They sent one for me earlier today.
Okay, yeah. Tell him I'll be out in a sec. Tell him my call time's not till 7:45. So I guess he's here at 7. I'm telling you to do a lot of stuff. I apologize. Isn't she pretty?
I'll tell him.
You'd never guess she's 52. You're like, she goes, I am not.
Shut up.
Wait, what were we just talking about before?
It was good.
So I mean, I know they probably don't want us talking about this either, but like, you know, when they reached out to Tremonti to do it, I don't think he was cool about it. Like, he was like, yeah, I know who the fucking guy is. Like, he didn't know who I was as the guy that was in a fraternity with him or in a band with me. He didn't remember any of that. And he's like, I'll do it. And he was like, I don't know if it fits my schedule, I'll do it. And in my head, I was like, I don't want you to do it. I don't want you to do it. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, in my head, I was like, just don't do it. Like, and I'm glad he didn't. And, you know, like, I'm glad he backed out and was like, I don't want to do this. Because I was like, I don't want to lie. And I don't want you to fucking lie. And I'm in all honesty, like, the character they wanted me to play was this like guy like, oh shucks, you don't remember me? When in reality I'm fucking godsmacked that he doesn't remember me. I can't even tell you what a fucking destructive blow this was, because I thought I was fucking crazy. I literally called the guy that's doing with me, Dacre, the other guy that was in the band, the guy that actually kicked him out. I called him and was like, am I out of my fucking mind? Like, because people are like, maybe you're thinking of another guy. I go, no, I gave the guy his fucking nickname. Like, I know this guy. He was in my band. Now that I'm with Dacre, he's like, no. We went and saw them twice. We went and saw them at the Mill, and we went and saw them at Floyd's. And each time we talked to them, like, we talked to Tremonti about how great, they were really, I mean, obviously, if you see Creed live in front of 20 people, you're going to be fucking blown away. Like, legit.
Sure, yeah.
And so I was like, yeah. And then I'm like, I'm so glad he's not fucking doing it. And the fact that Scott Stapp is, I go, fuck yeah, Scott Stapp. Like,
that's cool.
Fuck yeah. Like, way to be a cool dude who has no connection to the story and doesn't have any ill will towards Tremonti at all. Like, he just is like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Which is how you should be.
And then I was like,
that's actually how it should be.
Yeah, so I can get to meet him and go, I've never met you before, but dude, I think this is so cool that you're doing this, and like, I hope you want to hang out tonight, and like that for me, I go, like, that. But television, like, when they're like, can you recreate that? I'm just like, no, you should have gotten it.
I'll tell you a story that you'll like before we can go after next. I know you got to get out of here, but this is actually really funny about like people not like rock stars, like the jaded nature of a rock star not remembering anybody.
Yeah.
Or even like a moment in life that would be such like a moment in my world that was so nothing to him. 13 years ago, I guess now, I went backstage with Craig Gass.
Yeah.
To a Pledge of Allegiance tour in New York. It was Slipknot, Rammstein, Mudvayne, and System of a Down. And we went backstage. We got there early. And we were walking around backstage because Craig Gass knew some people or whatever, and we're just kind of milling around. And he goes, I got to take a piss. He goes, just kind of stay here. Don't, stay out of people's way. I'm like, sure. So I'm standing there, and like, as I'm looking in the hallway that I'm standing, I'm like, oh, wow, it's Max Weinberg from the E Street Band.
Yeah.
And, and Conan O'Brien, I guess, at the time, and I was like, oh, and he's there. It looks like he's there clearly with his son, who's like 12-year-old kid, it turns out, I guess. And like, he's wearing like the Slipknot, Slipknot the band. He's got like the coveralls and like the mask on with the thing, the little boy.
Really? Yeah.
Big Slipknot fan. And then so I'm just kind of watching while Craig's off taking a piss. I'm just kind of watching, and the lead singer from Slipknot comes out. Like it was like an organized kind of meeting thing, and he's like Max Weinberg, pleasure to meet you, man. And then Max Weinberg's like, it's nice to meet you. He goes, this is my son. You can see he's a huge fan of yours, and blah blah blah. And Corey Taylor's like lead singer of Slipknot. He's like, hey, little buddy. He's like, nice to meet you, man. And they shake hands, and I see him sign stuff for him. They take pictures, and it's great. Years later, I went on tour with Korn, and I became friends with all those guys. And I went to go see Korn and Slipknot on tour a year or two ago, and I guess 2 years ago. And we go to see him, and Korn went on first. When Korn was done, the drummer texts me, and I'm like, I'm out watching by the soundboard. Come out and hang out for a little bit. So the drummer comes out, and we're hanging by the soundboard watching Slipknot. Slipknot was known for their drummer. It was this amazing drummer, Joey Jordison. Amazing. Major drug problems, I guess, and they ended up booting him out of the band. They're going with a studio drummer now. And we're watching this guy, and I'm just kind of watching and talking to Ray, the drummer from Korn. And he's like, oh, yeah. He goes, you guys should watch this, like, this dude in Slipknot. He goes, there's session drummers, like, really good. They should sign him before he goes to another band. He's like, young kid, like 24 years old. I go, cool, man. He goes, it's Max Weinberg's kid. And I go, get the fuck out of here. So I told him that I saw them meet for the first time. He was a little kid just as a fan, and now that's fucking crazy. So I've held on that story for how cool that is.
Yeah.
I go,
shut the fucking phone up.
I go to Chicago Open Air Festival. I'm in Chicago doing Zanies, and I stay the extra day because Marilyn Manson's Slipknot are performing this big festival out there. I'm like, yeah, I'll go watch that. So me and Christine go, and we're backstage. We kind of have like the backstage passes to go walk around. And we only went backstage once. I don't like to get in people, so I hate that.
Yeah,
I went back once because it was necessary to go to the bathroom or something. And then I looked backstage, like in the parking lot area there, the loading dock, and I see only one rock star backstage at all. And it's the kid. I could tell. I go, this is fucking great. I got to tell this guy the story. I got to tell this to him. This is so crazy. And we start walking up. There's no one else in this parking lot. All of a sudden, another couple gets kind of in front of me and gets to him first and start talking to him. And my girl, Christine's with me. And so I'm kind of waiting for them to finish talking. But now I hate this. And you know this feeling because when you're in entertainment too, now I'm looming. Because Christine's even going like, let's just go.
Yeah.
I go, the story's so good. Like, he's going to be happy I stayed when I tell him this fucking crazy, holy shit. Like, I happened to be there for this moment in time when he met this kid backstage. It was definitely the first time meeting him. You know what I mean? Like, as he's a young boy and now he's in the band. Like, for me to have been there in those 2 points is crazy. And he's going to appreciate the story. And it's just taken like 5 minutes. And I'm like really looming. I'm smoking a cigarette. But I'm clearly waiting to talk to him.
Yeah.
And he knows that. And I go, and so the couple walks away. And I go, Jay Weinberg? He's like, yeah. I go, dude, how you doing? I said, my name is Jay. I go, I just tell you a quick thing, really quick. And I just give like an abridged version, but I'm getting through this whole thing. I'm like, he's like, oh, I remember being back. I remember going to that show, yeah, in Jersey. I go, yeah, and this blah, blah. And I'm a comedian. And I went on tour opening for Korn, blah, blah, blah. I came around, and I'm sitting there talking to the drummer from Korn. He goes, this drummer's great. It's Max Weinberg's son. And he goes, hi, that's pretty cool, man. He goes, enjoy the show, man. I'm just gonna walk. Like, he was so like unimpressed by that story. I'm like, what?
Shut the fuck
He
up.
couldn't have given two shits, and I'm like, this is gonna fucking. I go, his brain is gonna go.
God.
And he was just so. But again, like someone pointed out to me really great too. I think it might have been Christine. And she goes, yeah, it's Max Weinberg's son. He probably figured he was going to be in some kind of a popular band of some sort.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's one of the best.
oh yeah. I go, I guess it's not that weird that he even got to meet. He like. Bruce Springsteen's his uncle, and I'm like, can you believe I was there when you met Slipknot? He's like, yeah,
That must have been cool for you to
Yeah,
see me meet Slipknot.
It must have been really great for you to see me meet Slipknot, huh? Anyway, enjoy the show, kiddo.
Oh, that's fucking a great story.
It is so great that he's like, I love that. It's such, because by the way, for years I had the story, or for like a year or two, I guess I had the story of like, holy shit, that's the guy in the band, and then this moment in time where I only saw him backstage. I was like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to tell him. How connected we are in life with this story. He was he was like half walking while I was telling it still, and he's kind of like, cool, man, that's great. I'll see you later.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. Dude, by the way, I'm going to force you to take me to a Korn concert.
Oh, you don't have to.
Korn's one of my favorite bands ever.
Oh, dude. There's nothing
to the point where, like, when I lived over in Hollywood and Highland, like up in those hills, every time when I jogged past the Magic Hotel, or with the hotel where Jonathan Davis came and wrote the entire first album, did a bunch of meth and just wrote the whole album there. Every day I jogged past that, I was like, I'll see him walking out.
Oh, they're the fucking coolest. I was able to bring my daughter this year for the first time, like stood on stage and like next to the drummer and like watching him play from behind. I guess got some great videos out. They're Ari Shafir I brought to one.
Dude, I'm gonna force you to take me one.
He couldn't fully get into it. He goes he's like, they're good live, I guess, but like it's not really my thing. But I'm like, what I love about them, I'll say this unequivocally with any other band I've seen too, with them. He goes out and does those songs like it's the first time he's singing them again. They do not half-ass their music at all. They go, actually, with most of their songs, they make it bigger live. Like the notes where normally it's not like a thing where he would make a big, the song so big where he would normally just kind of trail off. Like, they make these big like crescendos.
I'm going in a leather tunic. Like, I'm fucking I would fucking love that.
Let's make a plan to
do that.
They will never stop going.
And let's do a tour. Let's do a bus tour with me, you, and Todd Glass.
Oh, dude,
how much fun would that be?
Get Joe DeRosa in there. He'll be the happiest guy in the world.
That'd be a fucking blast.
All right,
blast. Everyone sign up for, I'm sure you already listened to the Legion of Skanks.
Yeah.
Bonfire is going to 4 days a week in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And that is on 105.
That's at 95. Comedy Central, Sirius XM 95.
And it is my favorite show to do ever.
Dude.
I love doing that show more than anything.
What's that we're going to do? We need a guest host thing one time. Me and you were going to do. We'll do a couple shows together one week.
I mean, dude, after doing that, I called Sirius XM and was like, I would like to do a show for you guys. I just want to be a part of that family. That's how much fun that was fucking.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you doing this, Jay.
I love you, Bert.
I love you
too. 7 o'clock. Roll up on these. Dude, last night we were, let's go, Bert.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.
By the guy, it